Hi everybody, this is the comic book at the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the people's champion, your host on, and this is another homeless report starring one of the weirdest individuals online, Richard C. Meyer.
Ooh, ain't got no home, or no place to roam. Ain't got no home, or no place to roam. I'm a lonely boy, I ain't got a home.
Yes, welcome back to the comic book hut, and hopefully you like this video. You know, many years ago, I was the first to talk about Richard C. Meyer and his first book being late, and I thought to myself, this is something about this guy. This ain't right. And I did a video on it, and I got quite the response from a lot of people. People were like, "What are you doing? Did you see you're wrong?" You know, and my attitude was really, I think there's a problem. I'm going to talk about it, and I don't have to ask for permission. I don't need to talk to whomever. I'm just going to do what I got to do. And I took quite the brush back for a very long time. I was a lone wolf pretty much for a very long time. For about 4 years dealing with this on a regular basis, talking about this. And it's funny. Only one person's really come to me and said, you were right about him. And now. And that's the only thing I could take hold of, is that I was right. But obviously I'm not perfect. I did stupid things myself, but I'm very glad that I brought this out back in the day. Some people sort of, I'm not gonna let you forget about it. Because when Jawbreaker's Lost Souls came out late when it was supposed to come out. I mean, we're not going to go through the history of it, but he was late with that first book, and really he's been late with everything. The one thing that's interesting to me is that Richard had that Sylvester Stallone book that he put out, that he was crowdfunding. He didn't make $1 million off of it. This is, you got a Rambo property and Sylvester Stallone, and you can't get $1 million out of that. That's total screw up, because he has no social media foothold other than doing his videos. He doesn't go on any live streams. He doesn't talk to anybody. I don't know who the hell he's talking to when he does these videos. Be honest with you. But when you're homeless, I mean, you're gonna struggle. There is a mental illness aspect to that whole thing. When you get so bad that you can't, and then you're doing videos in your car, and you so you still live down in Austin. I'll tell you, if there's ever an Armageddon, it's gonna happen in Austin, Texas. I'll tell you that. If there's some terrible thing with ice, it probably happened in Austin. With some of these comic goofballs down there, and he's one of them. Which is funny, I should mention that, because I guess this artist posted a horrible picture, had done this drawing of Batman with a chokehold of an ICE agent. And Richard made light of it. He said that, it's just, we used to do this in the Marines and this. Hey, Richie, you're advocating violence against a federal agent. People voted for ICE agents to go in and get illegal aliens out of the country. People voted for that. That's the one thing that's never discussed, that people voted for it. Now, the one thing I know about Richard is that he is basically doesn't care about what goes on in the country. Okay? He did his time. I mean, he served his time for his country. As you know, he got arrested. And he made a deal with the judge that he'll go into, he'll serve his country if he doesn't have to go to jail. So that's not a joke. That's actual fact. That's truth. I mean, he served his country so he wouldn't go to jail. But other than that, Richard doesn't care about this country. He doesn't care about the culture. He doesn't care. He's like Han Solo when he's talking to the princess. He's like, I don't care about your revolution. I just want to be paid. That's all he cares about. All he cares about is money. All he cares about is money. And Richie, you know, he's one of these people that he's really weird. You call him, he doesn't pick up the phone. You either got to text him or you email him. You know. So he has no real relationships with people online. Not that he had relationships with people online, but you know what I mean? You don't talk on the phone. I mean, you don't talk, he doesn't go on any kind of live streams. He doesn't, for whatever reason. Not that that matters. But if you're going to do stuff online, you got to be able to do that. So any communication he has is just off videos off his channel. Or he's promoting one of his horribly written books and of course late books. They're all late. All of them. Every book he's ever done is late. But there was this drawing put out. It doesn't matter the artist. I don't care. And we've seen the violence against people that are right-wing. We know what happened to Charlie Kirk. He was assassinated by a left-wing puppet of the deep state and the globalists. They had to send a message about Charlie that you can't speak out against this stuff or you're going to be gone. And we know the violence that police officers deal with. We know the violence that ICE agents deal with. I would mention there's going to be another No King's Day on Saturday. That's going to be a nothing burger. Because most people don't care about this stuff, you know. Normal people don't. I know that the Democrats want to have a civil war, but it's not going to happen. They're going to lose this civil war like they lost the last one, badly. And the thing is that Richard doesn't understand that this is the rhetoric of the Democrat Party and just individuals who are Democrats, like this artist that did this drawing of Batman. That's the problem, is this idea that it's okay to be violent. Only Nazis think that way, Richie. Okay? And the idea that you do these kinds of drawings, it's like the book that I was talking about the other day about Swamp Thing. I guess a book that was banned, not banned, but it never got published by DC Comics, where Swamp Thing went back in time. It became the wood on the crucifix that had Jesus Christ on it. It's terrible, okay? And so these people are very much anti-Christian. They're very much not even anti-authority, just they want chaos and violence. And it's all the same kind of imagery. It's all the same kind of stuff. There's nothing, they don't talk about forgiveness. They don't talk about, I'm going to forgive you. No, I don't like what you say about this or that subject of the day. I forgive you. There's none of that, okay? We have Chuck Schumer, the senator from New York, which I'm well aware of, calling for violence on Saturday. This drawing is a violent drawing, okay? It's depicting a fictional character putting a chokehold on a real person, calling for violence. Now, Richie's sort of doing a semantic thing about this whole attitude about, well, you know, it's a chokehold. He's only going to be out for a second. Whatever, Richard. Now, he posted this video because YouTubers like John De La Rose, his good friend, supportive. John De La Rose has been going after him for months, which I'm glad to see someone else going after Richie. It's been a long time coming. And he's been doing it consistently. I'm proud of him for that. It's good for him. And Richard does watch his channel. He's a little afraid of John. I don't know why. You know, I don't know why. He just is. So I got a frog in my throat. But anyway, so John does these videos on him, and this is really response to this, and it's also response to Eric July. Okay, too. Because Eric July did not like this drawing. The mainstream media and the mainstream comic book industrial complex, or whatever you want to call it, is they hate everybody that isn't one of them. And even if it is one of them and they change something that they don't like, they'll hate you too. And that's just how it is. Now, I'm going to play this video. It says, "Go to sleep, ho. Right-wing pussies cry about absolute Batman using non-lethal hold on ICE agent." But again, this is a violent image. And most people don't watch wrestling. That's what he uses this use. Most people don't watch wrestling. Most people look at that kind of movie and they think that the person's getting killed. So, and most people have never served. Most women haven't served. Most men haven't served in the military. So Richard's trying to make it seem like, well, this is something we do all the time in the military. I'm not in the military. I was never in the military. Most people aren't. So when you see this shocking picture of Batman strangling somebody, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Well, anyway, let me play this clip. And Richard, he sounds like he's coming from a box. Maybe from the cardboard box that he's living in now in the streets. And he starts screaming. Whenever Richard starts screaming, then he's getting mad. And he's not happy that he's getting criticized by other YouTubers. Remember, I was the only one that ever criticized Richie when your host and bubbly Edna would go and make fun of him in videos. Now let me play this. And the funny thing is, you watch this, in the first minute or so, it's like this sort of AI bullshit. He played like a video Batman and Superman taking on like all these illegals. It's crazy, so stupid. Like, instead of working on, I would mention, Richie, if you're gonna work on maybe you could figure out how to get your books out on time instead of worried about doing these AI videos. You know, a Batman, Superman, talking with the same voice. It sounds like his voice, by the way.
Hi everyone, it's your boy Zach. So I've said several times that...
And low energy Richard. I'll say this. Some of the worst videos ever had to analyze and critique, all by Richard.
Conservatives need to decide if they are these alpha male John Wayne tough guys, right, or the biggest pussies that ever existed, because they keep trying to have it both ways. So over the weekend, Daniel Warren Johnson, or actually last week, he posted a commission, and it was kind of weird because at first I was like...
So this is the drawing right here. I'm not too enamored with the drawing. That's all. This is a violent image, and most people don't know what this chokehold is. And Richard doesn't understand that. He's just trying to cover up for the fact that he made himself look like a fool by supporting it. So basically telling Batman he's part of Antifa.
I was like, oh, this is going to be a huge shitstorm. And it really wasn't. Like, Bleeding Cool did one article. There wasn't a lot of like, yeah, take that, like from, quote, the other side. And I was like, okay, cool, this is just going to pass over. And then, of course, people had to make comments on it. So it's my job to actually just say, like, the most basic thing, that this is a rear naked...
One of the most basic things to understand is that Richard had a channel well over 100,000 subscribers, and he's now under 90,000, about 89,400 subscribers. This guy had a big channel, folks. He started out doing these videos, and I was so inspired by his videos, I decided to start the original comic book hut. But now you have Richard. He's gone off the deep end. But like I said, he was never in it for the revolution. He's in it for the money. But now the money's drying up. So I don't know where he's going with this. I would mention, I don't think he's making a lot of money off these videos. I wouldn't think that he was. Yeah, I mean, remember for a while they was complaining about the different YouTubers, going where the algorithm is. Like, it's a terrible thing. Well, here we go. Let me get back to this. Low energy Richard.
Blood choke, it's not fatal. I was in the Marines. I have gotten blood choked before. I've seen it happen a million times. This shit happens every day.
All this happened every day to you, Richard. No wonder why you are the way you are. Holy shit. Losing blood to you. Blood flow to the brain? I don't know, folks. And then let me get back to this. Monkey crap.
In fact, Marines are so connected to the rear naked choke that when you go to Wikipedia, the first picture is a Marine putting another Marine in an absolutely fantastic. Like, you are not escaping from this at all. You're going to pass out, and the last thing you're going to hear is this guy saying, go to sleep, ho, or words to that effect. Then he's going to release the grip, and you're going to wake up about 1 second later because it's not a lethal hold. All these alpha male tough guys on the far right looked at this and said, "Oh my God, it's a murder happening!" It's like there's a line from Raiders of the Lost Ark where Indiana Jones is telling those government agents that he's talking about like the Old Testament, and they have no idea what he's talking about.
Right.
He's like, "Didn't you guys go to Sunday school?" And they get kind of like flustered. And to this I say, like, didn't all you guys grow up in like the 70s, 80s, and 90s? A lot of them in the Midwest. Wrestling is very popular. Technically, this is like a Brazilian jiu-jitsu move, but professional wrestling. You never seen professional wrestling?
Anyway, nobody knows this move. If you're in the Marines, you know it, obviously. But Richard, he just doesn't get it, you know? And again, he's doing all this AI. Books are late. What is he doing down there? All this nonsense, all this flustering, all this sort of... And then attacking all those other YouTubers. Now, I have no problem goofing on another YouTuber. I'm a professional at that. I'm good at it. But Richard is just one of these people that he doesn't give a shit. He didn't care. He didn't care that the first book was late. He didn't care the book before that on Kickstarter was late. Okay? And his attitude is going to be late. What do you think? I don't give a shit. It's going to be late. What do you think about that? The book is done. It's written. It's colored. Printed. Can't get it to his backers on time. And amazingly enough, people still buy the books. Why? I don't get it. I understand he's had to go. I guess he had to decide to go back to work because the whole situation was so bad. The way his business was going, he had to get another job. Like I said in other videos, Richard's not going to be doing these videos too many. He's not going to be doing this whole thing too much longer. I think the end game is in sight. It really is. I would say in about 4 to 5 years, he will be out of this thing. It sort of has come up to me. It sort of has come up, just doing the videos and learning about him and stuff. A lot of this stuff in the beginning was his attitude was that he was very bitter that he didn't have the kind of talent that he thought he had. And that's why he was driving people crazy in the industry. Had nothing to, with Richard, it's different. It's not really about the politics with Richard in the beginning, in the very beginning. I'm not talking about his channel. I think he was getting kicked out of these chat groups because he was driving everybody crazy. And once he saw that comics were about, being destroyed by politics, he decided to do this channel. But he, for at least 10 years, was trying to get into Marvel, and he couldn't get into Marvel. He was trying to be friendly to all these different creators. He really wasn't getting anywhere with it because he had no talent. And then, of course, if you don't know, he doesn't work with Chuck Dixon anymore because Chuck is so ticked off. And he said, "I'm tired of my books being late." You can't screw up Sylvester Stallone's book and so badly and think that you're going to get away with it. Now, your boy Zach, or your boy Moron, as we always used to call him here, is really, he's a pretender. Like I said in this video, he's like Han Solo. He doesn't care about nothing but money. That's all he cares about. And this is another homeless report, starring Richard C. Meyer.
I sing like a girl, and I sing like a frog. I'm a lonely boy, I ain't got a home. Ooh,
Hi everybody, this is the Comic Book Cut, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion. Your host, and welcome back to the Comic Book Cut, and hopefully you like this video. Now, there's a New York Comic Con going on right now. It's been kind of pretty quiet for the most part, but something happened which I came across, and I don't think anyone's talked about this. And I'm happy to present it to you because I don't think anyone's talked about it. I don't think anyone's seen it. But this is from IGN. Now, I came across this just doing a Google search, And, well, let me read you the headline. 36 years later, DC will finally publish a controversial, canceled comic where Swamp Thing meets Jesus Christ. New York Comic-Con 2025. Plus, the new Vertigo lineup is revealed. So we have an idea where this is going to go, I think. You would never see this mocking of any other religious figure in any of the other religions. You wouldn't see this in Islam. You wouldn't see Swamp Thing meeting, Muhammad, ever. DC's DC Vertigo panel at New York Comic-Con brought with it an announcement 36 years in the making. Not only did they unveil the new lineup of comics that comprised the relaunched Vertigo imprint, but the publisher also revealed that a highly controversial Swamp Thing storyline that was canceled in 1989 will finally see the light of day. A quick history is in order. In 1989, writer Rick Veitch and artist Michael Zulli were the creators on Swamp Thing. DC balked after their planned Swamp Thing number 88 featured a storyline where the main character travels back in time, meets Jesus Christ, and morphs into the cross on Calvary Hill. DC opted not to publish the issue, a decision believed to have been motivated in part due to fears of stirring up controversy at the same time Tim Burton's Batman was hitting theaters. Now, this was a decision decided on by the DC publisher Jeanette Kahn. I looked this up. She had decided not to do this story. Veitch walked away from the series in protest, and incoming creators Neil Gaiman and Jamie Delano also quit in solidarity. Neil Gaiman is one of the biggest degenerates in the comic industry, as has sort of been revealed, interestingly enough. And I guess this was the cover, or this is going to be the cover, was the cover of this. Let me continue on with this. This is, again, you wouldn't see this for any other religion. Only Christianity is attacked, because Christianity is the most powerful religion by far of any of the other religions, and it's the most tolerant. Now, DC will finally publish the remainder of his run under the Mature Reader's Focus. This is Swamp Thing issue number 88 through 91. And it'll be part of the Mature Reader's Focus DC Black Label imprint. Issue 88 features the late Zulli's original artwork. The other 3 issues will be illustrated by artist Tom Mandrake and colorist Trish Mulvihill. These 4 issues will initially be released as facsimile editions that mimic the presentation and format of the original series. They'll also be included in the forthcoming trade paperback collection Swamp Thing by Rick Veitch, Book 3, Time Upon a Once. As for Vertigo, that beloved imprint is returning in 2026 with no fewer than top 10 new issues. The Black Label line will continue to feature darker, adult-centric stories featuring DC characters, while Vertigo will focus on creator-owned series and original concepts. Though Vertigo fans will spot one familiar face in this lineup, as Brian Azzarello and Eduardo Rizzo are reuniting for a new 100 Bullet series called 100 Bullets, U.S. of Anger. Wow. Vertigo is also becoming the new home of James Tynion IV and Alvaro Martinez's Buenos, The Nice House by the Sea, which started out as a Black Label book. Now, there's a name here you need to pay attention to. And this is Brian Azzarello. And I point him out because years ago, he did a Black Label book called Batman the Damned. Now that book is famous for showing a naked, nude Batman, a naked, nude Bruce Wayne. I didn't think that was a big deal, to be honest with you, about the book. That was not the controversial part in that book. Okay, that was for shock value. What happens in the storyline, if I remember properly, is that Batman is chasing down the Joker. And he tracks the Joker down to a church in Gotham City. And at the end of the story, which is, I guess, a 4-part storyline, he tracks him to a church. He comes to the church. He gets to the altar. And there is a crucifix at the altar. And it is desecrated. The cross is desecrated by the Joker. Has a smiley face on it. As far as I know, no one was uptight about that. I was at the time. I did not review the book because of that. Okay. That was a disgusting display of desecrating a very religious symbol in Christianity. And now they're going to do this. And Brian Azzarello is anti-Christian. We know that comics is anti-Christian. Okay. We know that. That's why they push the LGBTQ satanic message. If you follow satanic beliefs, Lucifer is trans. He doesn't have one sex, and he's also the one that says that there are more than one sex, more than two sexes, and that you can go back and forth. He's the person. He's the entity that says He's the entity that pushes people to do that, and it's well known in the Bible that he's done that. So I would not expect this story to be. There was probably a reason why the DC publisher back in the 80s did not put this book out. Probably for the very reason that I'm saying. It wasn't that it was too controversial, but it was probably disgusting. It probably wasn't. It was probably mocking Christ. Now, the writer does not have a history, as far as I could tell, of doing that. But if DC is pushing that now, we know their history, as we know the comic book industry itself. And they wanted to make a big deal out of it. They wanted to put this out there during Comic-Con in New York to get this out there. And the fact that they still have people like Brian Azzarello who's anti-Christian, who did that first story with Batman the Damned back in 2018, tells you where their mentality is as of right now. And it's going to come out next year. Let me just see some of these things that they're putting out. I mean, some of the most worst individuals in comics. Dennis Camp, But again, they didn't need to put this story out there. Mariko Tamaki, what the hell's her name? She did Batman for a while. What the hell is her name? Mariko Tamaki. She's another one. Okay, she's another one that's a bad actor here. So there's no surprise that these horrible stories are still being produced and they're doing under a black label, saying, "Oh, this gives us an excuse." Yeah, okay, whatever. And this article does not brag about. This is just telling you what's going on. I read the Mary Sue just to give myself an idea of what they're looking at, and they're bragging about it. Because, like I said, Christianity is a real threat to all this stuff. Sort of forgiveness of others. People that Mary Sue don't forgive anybody for anything, and that's part of it too. But I will hopefully get some kind of feedback from this video. Please, of course, subscribe to the Comic Book Hut. And, of course, thank you for watching this video. Have a good day, and I'll see you later. Hi, everybody. This is the Comic Book Hut, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion. Your host, and welcome back to the Comic Book Hut, and hopefully you like this video. I'm going to go through a couple books that I bought at the store. Not really mainstream stuff at all. Although you see Conan the Barbarian. Got some stuff. Most of the stuff I've not read yet. Some stuff I bought last week. And some stuff I bought today because I wanted to. I don't really review books as much as I used to. I was the #1 best reviewer of books. I really was. And but of course, please leave comments in the comment section and like this video. So I haven't bought comic books much. It just takes up a lot of space here at the hut. So I try to get, if I can get any, try to do the trades. I like the trades more than anything because then everything's compact and everything is all there. All the books I have here, they're all current stuff. A couple of floppies in here and some trades. And I'm going to go through it. And here we go. We got Conan the Barbarian number 24. I read this. It's actually pretty good. This is a alternate cover. This is, who the hell the cover did this? How did this cover? Covered by Luke Eidenschenk. It's pretty good. Some of the other covers they had for this particular issue, I didn't care for. I thought some of it was a little too kiddie. And as you know, Conan is not a kiddie book at all. And everything you want to have in Conan the Barbarian is in this book. Snakes, betrayal by a friend, a woman you can't get, you know, a witch/wizard he's got to deal with, and of course a lot of fighting and a lot of blood. It's not gory, not at all. I actually quite enjoyed it, and that was pretty good. Then we have Skinbreaker, which came out last week. I got it because it was in the first issue, and it's written obviously by Robert Kirkman and drawn by David Finch. I read it. I probably should do a review of it, but I did not think it was that great. I don't know where this takes place. It takes place on a primitive planet with these characters that I guess let their bodies get hardened by the sun or the sun that they have. I'm not too enamored with this book, but get it. It's a Kirkman book. You know it's going to be good long term. There's always a payoff with his books. So even if the first issue is not a lot there, I'm sure this book was done about 1.5 years ago or 2 years ago. He always has stuff going on, obviously. And this is a very much very heavy Robert Kirkman video. So but here we have Conan the Barbarian. This is the first 4 issues, I believe. The first 4 issues, let's see. It's the first 4 issues of this series from Titan Comics. This, I guess Marvel lost it, lost the trademark, and now Titan is doing it, and people loving the series. I saw a lot of videos with people talking about this and recommended this. Is probably one of the best books out there, one of the best series out there. And obviously this is a Mike Mignola cover, and this is the trade. So I'm going to go do this. I'll review this. You know, you've seen this already about 2 years ago, but this is all new to me. You know, it very much the first issue I read is very much from the sort of the 70s, 80s Conan that I remember. And we'll go through this at some point. Now, it probably take me forever. It takes me forever to go through these books these days. So I'm very busy doing other things on YouTube. But this is promising. I was actually looking for the original series from Marvel, trying to get them on the trade. Either do the collected edition or something. I gotta look at it. I gotta mail again on Amazon. We'll see. But I look forward to reading this. And then I got G.I. Joe. Look at that. Another Robert Kirkman. Obviously, this is very well done. Larry Hama. This is the original characters from the original series. And I very much look forward to going through this. It's the first 5 issues, I believe. Or the first 4. Let's see. Yeah, the first 4 or 5 issues of this series. Or at least the reimagining. Before I think they were in Boom Comics. They were at Boom or they were at Dynamite. Well, it doesn't matter. It wasn't nearly. Before that was, I think, Dark Horse. I don't even remember now. G.I. Joe's gonna bounce around, but obviously Robert Kirkman is overseeing this. And Larry Hamlin's gone back to some of the basic stuff of writing it. I could have gotten issue 321, but it was one of those silent issues. I was like, I don't want to spend a lot of money on a silent issue. I want dialogue. I wonder what the hell's going on in this issue. I can't believe they're still doing stuff like that, hooky stuff like that. I love the cover by Andy Kubert, but the artwork's not bad in this book, so we'll go through this. I'm a big G.I. Joe fan, so especially of the original series. So that'll be interesting and fun to go through. And then I got a couple of floppies here. Got Transformers number 25. This is written by Robert Kirkman. And we'll go through this. This is a double issue, I believe. And big start with Megatron, the beginning of this book. I know that the Netflix series is a disaster. Very satanic, very... they have 3 characters, 3, I guess, Decepticons in that episode. Or Autobots, I'm not sure. A couple of Transformers in that series that are named after demons. One called Nightshade, who's a demon. It's a biblical demon, by the way. So I do not have Netflix, so I don't have to worry about canceling it. This, we'll go through this, and we'll see how this is. I'm sure it's good. People love it. And then we have G.I. Joe number 23, 320, Real American Hero. This is the issue before. The silent issue. And I was like, like I said, I don't really want a silent issue when I get a book. What was interesting about that book back in the day, Silent Interlude with Snake Eyes, is that that was unexpected. And it's had quite the 40-something year legacy. But today, it's different. So when you do it again, it's like, I started going through it at the store. I was like, there's no dialogue in here. And then when I saw this and I saw the other again, and of course get the trade, I was like, I'll get that. And then finally, we have Conan the Barbarian number 25, which is a new issue. Not too happy about the cover. It's a little fluted. But this cover, I like this cover better than the other cover. And this is a Conan the King, King Conan. They let it be known that this is King Conan in this book. So it's later on in his life, and he's chronicling things that have happened to him. So that'll be a book I'll go through. And now I was at issue 24, issue 25, and then I get the beginning part of the series. And like I said, I'd rather have these trades because their quality of the paper is better, they last longer, and they just look better, quite frankly. They look better to me. I don't really collect too much. I mean, I could review a whole bunch of stuff here, just for myself, But we'll go through this, and hopefully you like this video. And this is what we do here, or used to do here. Used to do this all the time, Used to review some of the worst books and comics back in 2018, 2019. And then we took a detour. But, YouTube's not like this anymore, unfortunately. So if you're a person that did the reviews back in the day, you did well. I did well back in the day. People watched what I had to say because that was fun and funny. See if I can get that sense of humor back. But, it's only funny when you roast the books and make fun of the books. And I'm not going to waste my money roasting books from, have jokes from like 5 years ago or 6 years ago. Well, you let me know what you think about this video. And, of course, please subscribe to the Comic Book Hut. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. Everything you want to have in Conan the Barbarian is in this book. Snakes, betrayal by a friend, a woman he can't get, a witch/wizard he's got to deal with, and, of course, a lot of fighting and a lot of blood. It's not gory, not at all. I actually quite enjoyed it, and that was pretty good. Then we have Skinbreaker, which came out last week. I got it because it was in the first issue, and it's written obviously by Robert Kirkman and drawn by David Finch. I read it. I probably should do a review of it, but I did not think it was that great. YouTube's not like this anymore, unfortunately. So if you're a person that did the reviews back in the day, you did well. I did well back in the day. People watched what I had to say because that was fun and funny. See if I can get that sense of humor back. But it's only funny when you roast the books and make fun of the books. And I'm not gonna waste my money roasting books from have jokes from like 5 years ago or 6 years ago. Everything you want to have in Conan the Barbarian is in this book. Snakes, betrayal by a friend, a woman he can't get, a witch/wizard he's got to deal with, and of course a lot of fighting and a lot of blood. It's not gory, not at all. I actually quite enjoyed it, and that was pretty good. Then we have Skinbreaker, which came out last week. I got it because it was in the first issue, and it's written obviously by Robert Kirkman and drawn by David Finch. I read it. I probably should do a review of it, but I did not think it was that great. Hi everybody, this is the Comic Book Guy, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion. The host, and welcome back to the Comic Book Guy, and hopefully you like this video and hit that subscribe button. As you know, the comic book industry is not in great shape. They have all these ideologues, all these deranged ideologues running around, and the business model is not very good. It's out of date. I think you're starting to see some changes with some creators when they're doing these crowdfunds. It's taken a lot of them a long time to figure that out. But there is some changes going on. But the older companies, especially the smaller ones, and this is a legendary one, are not doing well. This is an article from comicsbeat.com. Humanoids files for Chapter 7 bankruptcy. Another one bites the dust. The first substantial casualty of the Diamond bankruptcy has been revealed. Humanoids, the Los Angeles-based branch of the famed French publisher, has just filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy, the bankruptcy of no return. Chapter 7 means that the company's assets will be liquidated and used to pay creditors. However, it doesn't appear that there will be many assets. According to court filings, the company has less than $50,000 in assets and between $10 to $50 million in debt. Holy shit. The bankruptcy was filed in Maryland Bankruptcy Court, where have we heard that one before? And lists H.C. Windown Corporation as the parent company, with Luxembourg-based Humanoids Holding SOAR owning 79.5% of the stock and 28.5% owned by Primer Entertainment LLC, an LA-based entertainment company. Humanoids and Primer teamed up back in 2018 and at one point had an adaptation of the Incal directed by Taika Waititi in the pipeline. That project has been silent ever since. Well, if you got Taika Waititi involved, you deserve to go and hit bankruptcy, that's for sure. Humanoids was last heard from with a Kickstarter to fund a new edition of Metal Hurlant last year. As we reported, it was a rival to the heavy metal-led crowdfunded relaunch of Heavy Metal magazine. In something of a space fantasy comics race, the Heavy Metal campaign earned $780,000 plus, while the Humanoids project raised $759,000 plus. The first issue came out in June, with work by Low IQ Brian Michael Bendis, Matt Fraction, James Stokel, Peach Momoko, and Mark Wade. Oh, there you go. I don't know why the company went bankrupt. And a second issue followed. But if more work was ever commissioned or completed, it's now lost to the vagaries of bankruptcy court. Humanoids began as a French publishing company founded by Mobius and Philippe Droulent, with the fantasy anthology magazine Metal Hurlant its flagship. Metal Hurlant ran until 1987 in France, got a brief American revival in 2002, and enjoyed a successful French rebirth in 2021. Humanoids, the company, was purchased by then 23-year-old publisher Fabrice Giger in 1988 and relaunched into the U.S. market in 1999. Since then, it has been a semi-regular in the comics industry due to controlling a number of stone-cold comics classes like the Incal by Jurowski and Mobius and related titles. Its history of packs and innovatives included deals with DC, Image, and Devil's Due, and the H1 line. Yet another attempt to launch a line of periodical comic books headed up by Mark Waid. Mark Waid. The French arm of Humanoids, Les Humanoids Associés, went into receivership back in July, which is a sort of French version of bankruptcy, although at the time, Gijour told Le Ver Hebdo that I don't know if I'm saying these names right, but I'm just going to go with it, that the company was looking to restructure. A subsidiary publisher, Les Bateaux et Boulets, was said to be separate from the receivership, but the entire situation sounds pretty dire. French comic sales have been hugely impacted by the rise of manga and other market forces, so some are struggling. What's funny about manga is that the population of Japan is decreasing and collapsing, but the publications of manga, which is a Japanese way of telling stories, is exploding. Isn't that ironic? As for U.S. humanoids, they were severely, and I would mention, if you're an American and you believe in Americanism, you don't put your book in manga. You don't have it written and drawn as manga. Sorry. As for U.S. humanoids, they were severely impacted by the Diamond bankruptcy. However, their troubles were already brewing as they attempted to file for Chapter 11 back in January, according to Yahoo Finance. Humanoids filed, and it's the same thing with the French. If you're a Frenchman, why are you promoting manga? You promote being French. That's the problem in Europe, too, by the way. Now, they've been sort of shamed into not wanting to be themselves. Let's see. Attempted to file for Chapter 11 back in January, according to Yahoo Finance. Humanoids filed an objection to Diamond's consignment sales plan in July, but they were not part of either group of publishers seeking a stay in that matter. But see our next story from a complete list of creditors we file in a few weeks, and a meeting of creditors will be held on November 7th. Just before New York Comic Con, the writer was having dinner with a comics colleague, and the subject of humanoids came up. Neither of us had heard anything from them in a while. It seems it didn't matter about the writer. I don't care about the writer. But this tells you, though, that the whole comic industry is in bad shape. When an old company like this is struggling. I mean, they've been around 50 years, and this company is kaput. You know, they're going to liquidate the American side of it, from what I read earlier. And they're just going to liquidate all of that, all the American side of it, and then they're going to just keep publishing on the French side. You know, it is very difficult for the publishers of these different countries to promote themselves, promote being French, promote being American when you're dealing with manga. It's very difficult. And if you say you're like a comic book store owner, you have to have manga in your store, or you're not going to make money. There are several places near me. One is 90% manga, and maybe 10% of that is American stuff. Then there's another store that's basically 90% American and 10% manga. You know. So it's like, you can't be like, if you're a store owner, you're kind of held hostage to having to sell this Japanese stuff. Oh, they're great stories. Yeah, okay. So I'm one person that doesn't like that stuff. I hate that stuff. So don't like the artwork. I think there's something really off about the artwork. Sorry. You have over-sexualized characters, and they have faces of babies. They're baby faces. I have a major problem with that. Major problem with that. I always have. I'm very consistent here at the Comic Book Hut when it comes to that stuff. I don't like the artwork. I just think it's terrible artwork. You know. They get the artwork done quick. And wait, I'm sure AI is going to start pounding out these books quicker. But like I said, the Japanese population is collapsing. But the comics that they make, they bang that shit out like it's nothing. That's for sure. Well, let me know what you think about this video. And of course, please subscribe to the Comic Book Hut. And I'll see you later. Hi, everybody. This is the Comic Book Hut. The amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the people's champion, Yo, host, and welcome back to the Comic Book Hut, and hopefully you like this video. Hit that subscribe button. I know that Tron Ares did not do well at the box office. Now, I have a question, and it's really more than just a question, it's more of a statement. I've never seen the original one. I think maybe I've seen it when I was a kid, and I say, this movie sucks. I don't like it. And it sucks so badly that they didn't do like a remake on it for like 40 years. And then they decided to do a remake, and then they do it with Jared Leto, who's one of the worst actors when it comes to these things. I have a well, we're going to get into it in a minute because I really have a problem with this particular look. But anyway, they had this third Tron movie out, and it didn't do well in the box office. Now, there's another big movie coming out. He-Man is coming out. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe coming out soon. And I guess this guy, Jared Leto, is going to be Skeletor. They post this picture on the article and had the headline, Jared Leto's Tron Ares flops at the box office, raising concerns for He-Man. Now, he's playing Skeletor. This is not what Skeletor looks like, folks. Okay? Skeletor doesn't have a fucking beard, okay? Doesn't have a beard. I'm sorry. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this crap, okay? He doesn't have a beard. This does not look in any way whatsoever like Skeletor. Skeletor is a skull. It's not an emaciated face. He's not a vampire. He's not whatever the hell they're trying to make this out to be. Okay? Skeletor has a skull face. It's a skull. All right? This is now another character that Jared Leto has done that's comic book based, fantasy, where the look of the character is totally different. Totally different than what we know it today. The other version is the Joker, the Zack Snyder Joker, which was a terrible version of the Joker when they did that Harley Quinn movie. The Joker looked terrible in that movie with the broken teeth, and he had the gold teeth, and he was it was terrible. And I'm going to assume that the actor has an influence on the look of this character. Instead of telling this particular actor, this mediocre actor, we're not going to let you influence the look. You either shave the beard, and we'll give you heavy prosthetics for your face, or we're not going to hire you. Okay? I mean, look at this. It's pathetic. And I'm going to read the article, and there is concern, I guess, for He-Man. And again, this is a guy that's had plenty of duds for this guy. Jared Leto has another box office dud on his hands. After 4 days in theater, Disney's Tron Ares has grossed just $36.8 million, falling behind even Morbius, which made $41.1 million in its first 4 days. That's a troubling sign for Leto and the studio behind his next major project. Why is he the center point of the next movie? Can somebody explain that one to me? Leto stars as Skeletor in next year's Masters of the Universe movie, where he is the biggest named actor in the film. Instead, the Tron Ares flop raises new concerns about how marketable he really is, and whether the audience will turn out for another effects-heavy fantasy built around him. And again, he has created this look for this version of Skeletor. There is no doubt. And you don't tell the actor, shave the fucking beard. Okay? Skeletor doesn't have a beard. It looks ridiculous. A skull with a beard. It looks stupid. Tron Ares was expected to open strong with projections of $45 to $50 million. But it came in well below that. It's already shaping up to be another expensive misfire for Disney with an estimated $180 million budget. That puts Leto in familiar territory. Morbius, Sony's Marvel spin-off, was mocked online for its weak box office and even weaker reception, becoming a pop culture punchline. Now, Tron Ares looks like deja vu, another effects-driven flop with Leto front and center. What does this mean for Masters of the Universe? Well, it's funny you should ask. Masters of the Universe reboot, produced by Mattel and Amazon MGM, is supposed to hit theaters next year, but the project has already faced skepticism from fans. Reports suggest that much of the movie takes place on Earth. Instead of Eternia, a move often seen as a cost-cutting move and measure that rarely excites longtime fans. Can you say low budget? There's also concern about how Skeletor will be portrayed. Jared Leto is the biggest name attached to the film, and there's concern Leto will appear frequently as Keldor, Skeletor's pre-transformation self. Oh, God. That could mean less time under the skull mask, similar to how Pedro Pascal pushed to show his face in The Mandalorian, or how Halo broke fan trust when it unmasked its lead character early in the series, which failed completely. If audience don't buy into Leto's performance, Masters of the Universe could struggle to win over fans who already view him as a miscast. Both Tron and He-Man also target a similar audience, an older, skewing male demographic nostalgic in the 80s pop culture, but increasingly skeptical of Hollywood's reboots. The crowd is shown it won't show up just for brand recognition or CGI spectacle. They want authenticity, respect for the source material, and a lead actor who fits the role. He can't carry a movie, okay? If he can't carry a movie, how is he going to be able to carry the role of Skeletor? One of the biggest toy villains of all time. I mean, he might be a bigger toy villain than Cobra Commander, to be honest with you. This is a guy that has not been able to do this, and they keep hiring him for these roles. It makes no sense. If Tron couldn't bring that audience back to theaters, it's a warning sign that Masters of the Universe may face the same uphill battle, especially if it leans too much on Jared Leto's star power instead of what made He-Man iconic in the first place. I mean, look at this. He looks like a corpse. He looks like a corpse. Folks, I mean, this is a terrible look. A pathetic look for a character that is a skull face. Okay, this looks terrible. And this is all because of the actor. This is the actor's idea to do stuff, weird shit like this. He looks like a corpse. Skeletor is not a corpse. He's an evil villain with a skull for face, a skull for head. Mattel promises big things. Despite the skepticism, Mattel Studios president Robbie Renner insists that Masters of the Universe is massive in scope. Speaking at MIP and cons, she said, uh-oh, a woman doing this? Yeah, this is going to be a disaster. She said the production used 8 backlots and featured 8-foot tall characters, calling the biggest movie she's ever worked on, even compared to the billion dollar Barbie. Quote, I went and visited the set last year, and out of all the movies that I've worked on, my entire life, even Barbie, it was the biggest. It was massive. I think we took over 2 or 3 sound stages. This was on 8 backlots. Characters walking around that are 8 feet tall. There are these crazy characters in the movie. I mean, the fact that a woman is doing He-Man, this is a major problem. Because the feminists don't know how to do they don't know how to do boy properties. The reason Barbie made so much is because they know Barbie. They know the character. This woman doesn't know He-Man. And the fact that they hired Jared Leto, they didn't bring a better actor to play the villain, and a name actor to play a hero. I would say this about the kid that plays He-Man. He's a little small. He's a little small. He's not Dolph Lundgren. That's for damn sure. Just in terms of his physicality, he doesn't look like he physically carries the movie. And you need a good actor to carry that movie. Or a very good villain, a very good actor to play the villain. Jared Leto's box office poison. He's poison, I tell you, poison. We'll see what happens. But the fact that Tron has flopped, Morbius flopped, his version of the Joker was terrible. That movie flopped too, by the way. This the Suicide Squad, right? The Suicide Squad movie. The fact that we have all this disaster around this particular guy. Masters of the Universe is set to hit theaters December 19th, 2026. And we'll see what happens. It's by Mattel and Amazon. But boy, this does not bode well from the beginning to the end. The fact you have this guy who's box office poison, you have a woman running this film, this is a big problem. This is a big problem. It's not my problem. It's their problem when this movie loses a lot of money. Ugh. He looks terrible. This is a terrible version of Skeletor. Terrible. Well, thank you for watching this video, and of course, please send me super thanks. It's a great way to help out the channel, and of course, thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you later.